Hello, ladies and gentlemen, people of the world. How the heck are you doing today? And we are back for our monthly zombies video, all right? And today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be ranking every single zombies map ever. Now, we're only going to be looking at Treyarch zombie maps, okay? So, no Dead Ops, no Infinite Warfare, no World War II, just pure Treyarch for this list. Everything from World War II would be at the bottom of this list, and I just genuinely don't think I know enough, and I'm not competent enough with IW to include it. And I just don't really care. Anyways, if you guys are new to the channel and could please subscribe, that would be most appreciated. I'll be probably doing more zombies videos as bo4 ramps up. And the other thing is, if you're already subscribed, leave a like. Other than that, though, we're going to hop straight into it. So coming in at our number 21 spot, this is going to be the lowest spot on our list. I'm deciding to give it up to Verrückt. Now for this list, I'm only going to be looking at the original versions of the maps. So nothing from Chronicles, no remakes whatsoever. And I think objectively, Verrückt is the worst map of all time. Now, Verrückt did introduce perk machines, but beyond that, it's really not a good map. It's basically Nocturne Toten without like the coolness of Nocturne Toten because it's Nocturne Toten. And I never really thought it was a good map. I feel like most people don't like it. I think it's underrated, even though it's the worst map ever, but it's still not a very good map. Anyways, moving on to number 20, this is going to be Nocturne Toten, and while I have a lot of nostalgia for this map, I can't objectively put it any higher than the second worst on this list. Now, Noct is a very basic map, but it is actually really fun to play solo because basically you get a flamethrower and there's only 24 zombies around, so you can run trains in the spawn room, and it's a pretty good time. Like, you can get round 50 pretty easily and feel good about it that you're playing a map with no jug, getting to a high round, and it's a very unique experience. So, although Noct is obviously not a great map objectively, I'm a huge fan of it. I feel bad for putting it this low, but it's kind of just what I gotta do. And moving on to number 19, this is going to be Shino. Now, I feel the same way about Shino as I do Noct. I think nowadays the only thing that would be fun to really do on those maps are just solo high round attempt because there's only 24 zombies spawning in around. It's a really good time to just run around that catwalk with the Wunderwaffe. But again, objectively, compared to what we're playing now, it's not a very good map. And I know people are going to be like, well, that's not fair. But this is the best maps, okay? You got to look at it this way. You can't include nostalgia for the best maps. So, anyways, that's where it places. Okay, now moving on to number 18, I'm about to trigger all kinds of people. So just get ready. Keen Under Toten, sorry, but it's not that good a map. I think being away from zombies for a little bit has let me kind of let go of all that like nostalgia and like elitist bullcrap and like, oh, Kino's such a good map because I have a lot of nostalgia for it. It's not, okay? Let's just let that go. Okay, it was a fun map when it came out, but it's not that fun anymore. It's very basic, okay? And it's just not a very good map. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad map, but it's a very basic map, and there was nothing new. From Deriz to Kino, what changed? Nothing, a new weapon. That's it. No perks, teleporter, nothing. Pack punch, no. Kino didn't do anything, okay? It's an overrated map, and I'm placing it where it deserves. Okay, now moving on to number 17, we have a map that I hate more than every other map I just list, but I have to objectively put it higher because it is a much bigger and better map. At number 17, we have Zetsubou no Shima. Now, I really don't like Zetsubou. Of all the modern maps, it is my least favorite, and that's why it's placing as the lowest ranking modern map, like Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3. But Zetsubou is, I feel like, a pretty flawed map. It's just a really big map. It's a huge run fest. You know, there's not a lot of ways to get around the map quickly. It's an annoying map to play. It's an annoying Easter egg to do. It's probably the worst Easter egg of Black Ops 3. I really don't have a lot good to say about Zetsubou, and ultimately, to me, it always just felt like a very tedious map, and I really just never enjoyed it. Ironically, though, the day Zetsubou dropped was the day I hit 1 million subscribers, so always a weird little fun fact there. And moving on to number 16, this is gonna be Transit. Now, I just wanna say, I like Transit. After all these years, after all the hating that me and Lex did back in the OG days, it's a map that's really grown on me. Like, I liked it, then I hated it for years, and now I just appreciate it for what it was. It was a map that tried to do something different, failed, but I respect the attempt, and I think it has a ton of potential. If you were to remaster Transit and fix everything, just let me go through, boom, boom, change this, change that, this, that, the other thing, change it, it could be one of the best maps of all time. And I know it's one of the worst maps of all time, but I think part of the reason I like it now is I just see the potential, and it was so limited because it was on a PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. It was so limited because of that. And for that reason, it just was never as good as it could have been. And moving on to our number 15 spot, this is going to be another fan nostalgic map. It is Ascension. Again, I just have nothing good to say about Ascension. I don't like it. I think it's really boring. I hate the monkeys. It's also not that innovative. I think it's much more innovative than Kino was. Okay, it brought some new perks in, has some different ideas. But again, it's not one of my favorite maps, even though I know it is a fan favorite. And I'm not saying it's the worst map, but I certainly think that it is also overrated. At number 14, we have Shangri-La, which I think is the exact opposite of everything we've all just talked about. I think it's objectively a good map, but subjectively nobody likes it. There are a few people out there, and there are a bunch of weirdos, but there's a few people out there that say Shangri-La is my favorite map. And I get it. It's a beautiful map. It's a very unique map. It was innovative. It's got the first ever real Easter egg, but ugh. When people talk about the best maps of all time, they talk about oh, it's got a great Easter egg, this, that, and the other thing, because it's already assumed and established that it's a fun experience. But Shangri-La in the first place is never fun, so it doesn't get any further than that. For most people anyways. Now coming in at our number 13 spot, we've got what I believe to be one of the most underrated maps of all time. This is actually 5. 5 is better than Kino der Toten. I said it, you might not agree with me, and that's fine, but that's what I think. And I think if you look at each map objectively, you'll come away with the conclusion that 5, in 2018, looking back, is better. First of all, 5 is an actual challenge. Okay, Kino is one of the easiest maps of all time. You just run around in circles. 5 is actually hard. 5 has some of the coolest characters of all time, and that's not to say that, Kino has bad characters, because it's obviously got original crew, but they're not unique because they're in so many maps. You've got JFK, okay, the whole crew. 5's got amazing characters. And on top of all that, it's a map that takes place in the Pentagon, okay? That is just so much cooler and so much more unique than, oh, an abandoned, scary theater. Ooh, we're in a theater now. We were come on. Kino, lame map. 5 is better. That's all I'm saying. Now, at number 12, we have Revelations, and this is ultimately not a bad map. It's not a great map. It's really a middle-of-the-road one. Hate the Easter egg. Love the setting. Love the colors and everything. Love that it's just basically every map put into one. But it's not. Okay, I don't like Revelations. I really, really actually don't like Revelations, but I do see why a lot of people like it. So it was hard to rank this one, but I just don't think it's fair to put it any higher than where it is here because it's not in its own map. It is its own map, but it's not. So middle of the road, 12. Let's move on. Now at number 11, we have truly the most underrated zombies map of all time, and this is Nuketown. Actually, numerically, Nuketown Zombies at 11 would be in the middle between 21 and 1. But I'm just saying, Revelations was middle of the pack, in my opinion. Anyways, now Nuketown Zombies is not a map known for its Easter egg, its storyline, but it excels in one area. And it excels better in that one area than any other map ever. When you break it down to the core of what Zombies is, it's killing zombies and going through high rounds. That is Nuketown. That's all it is. And they do it so well. It's literally just a gameplay map, okay? There's nothing special to it. It's just a bare bones, sometimes you're not going to get jugged till round 20, bare bones, hardcore Zombies player map. For high rounds, it's one of the hardest maps in Zombies. And again, ultimately, I just think this is such a good map simply because of its gameplay. There's no bullshit with Nuketown Zombies. And if you're just looking for a simple yet challenging Zombies experience, Nuketown, go no further than Nuketown. Obviously, Nuketown loses points for not being big and grand and exciting and weapons and all that stuff. But again, it does the core of Zombies the best. And that's it. Now, coming in at number 10, this might be a little bit surprising, but it's actually Die Rise. I think a lot of people were going to expect me to rank that lower. It's another map that I've changed my mind on a little bit. Of our top 10, wow, Die Rise is actually ranking in the top 10. That's really weird. Die Rise is probably, it is objectively Die Rise is a really bad map. It's a really flawed map that just doesn't play well, was not really thought out as good as I think it could have been. But there's something about it. First of all, it's got really nice scenery up top. I think it's one of the most beautiful areas of any map ever. But the thing about Die Rise is it plays really well solo. It's a really fun map to speedrun, and I think in general, high rounds are really good for this map. Die Rise didn't do very much good, but I think the one thing they did well was high rounds. And basically, like, it's a great map to start and get used to that whole concept and get introduced, just get familiar with going to high rounds and even speedrunning. And I just think that's like the one thing that it did right, and that's enough for me to put it in the top 10. Really, really could have used PhD Flopper though. Now coming in at number 9, this is going to be Darius, the original World at War Darius, because we got to do it objectively, but still, Darius. Darius is one of the best maps of all time, and it is one of the most basic maps of all time. It was innovative, unlike Keenan or Toten, okay? That's really why it's getting here. It was the most influential zombies map. How about that? Pack-a-punch. That's all you need, really. That was like the big thing. Obviously, that was the most game-changing thing, I would say, in zombies. Maybe besides Easter eggs. Also, a dedicated wonder weapon. I know it was originally with Shinonuma, but to me, like, the Wonderwaff and Darius, they go together. It was very flawed and it was very buggy, but at the core of it, it was the most influential zombies map of all time, in my opinion, and that's why it gets ranked so high. Number 8, Moon. I hate Moon. It's actually one of my least favorite maps of all time, but it's a really good map. Moon is so innovative. It's so unique. It's just a step in a really weird direction. It's got an amazing Easter egg. It's got good weapons. It's just a freaking cool map that I hate. I can't get behind it. I don't like the gravity. I don't like playing it. I really don't like playing it, but it's a good map. And I gotta give respect to it. It's like that person that you don't like that ultimately you know they're not a bad person, but you just don't get along with them and you just respect them for what it is, but you agree to disagree. At number 7, we have Call of the Dead. To me, Call of the Dead was the first modern zombies map. When you think about maps, like, you had your pre-Call of the Dead, I mean, Ascension was a big map, but it was basically like a big Keenan or Toten or a big Darius. It wasn't anything more innovative. But to me, I felt like Call of the Dead was the map that really, like, took zombies to another level. Ascension had the first Easter egg, Shangri-La had the first real one, Call of the Dead was kind of the stepping stone. Gameplay-wise, it was absolutely amazing. I hated George. I respect what it was. And Call of the Dead is just objectively, it really was a masterpiece for its time. And I would have loved to see what that map could have been on like a PS4 in Black Ops 3 or something like that. Remaster Call of the Dead. Now, coming in at number 6. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this is Buried. I used to hate Buried, and it's one of the greatest maps of all time. Buried is perfect for anyone that is trying to have a casual zombies experience. Buried is not for hardcore players, but it is one of the best maps of all time, regardless. The Transit and Die Rise Easter eggs were absolute garbage, and Buried saved that entire arc. That's how good that Easter egg is. Buried is the finale to the only super egg we ever saw in zombies, okay? I'm looking at you, Jason. I'm looking at you. Buried is fun and casual, but still zombies. It is such a great map, and really, I don't know if it's underrated. I think it's exactly as people see it, but I freaking love Buried, man. I have really fond memories of it now. When I kind of got back into like speedrunning and Pack-a-Punch challenges and all that, and it's just a phenomenal map. It comes in at number 6. Okay, number 5, this is gonna be Gorod Krovi. So we are now in the top 5. You guys know what they all are. You've got all of the 5 maps probably in your head, or at least most of them. Gorod Krovi is the worst of this grouping. Gorod Krovi is one of the greatest maps of all time, but of the top 5, it's the worst. Gorod Krovi, I don't know why I'm placing it here. I really don't have a reason, and I guess I had to just take it subjectively because I don't have an answer. But I feel like I had to put it lowest. It is one of the greatest zombies maps of all time, and don't feel like I'm saying it's a bad map putting it at 5. No, it's number 5 of all time. It's got an amazing boss fight, amazing storyline, a great Easter egg. I don't know why I can't put it any higher than that. I really don't know what it is at the core of it that makes me think Gorod is less good than these other maps, other than the fact that I just think these next 4 maps are that phenomenal. At number 4, we have Der Eisendrache. Der Eisendrache is the icon of Black Ops 3. I really think it was, like, to the community, the best map. First true boss fight. That's a huge accolade right there. Phenomenal map, phenomenal wonder weapons. Took a lot from Origins and Mob of the Dead, I will say, but it built upon what Mob of the Dead and Origins did, and it didn't feel bad. You know, if it was a good way they did that. And yeah, Dries and Drac is a classic. Now, this is where this list got really hard for me, but at number 3, ugh. Okay, I don't know what I like more. I don't know what is a better map, but number 3 is Shadows of Evil. I struggle to put it here. I really want to put it at number 2, even maybe number 3. Shadows of Evil is the best BO3 map. After I've had some time to digest Black Ops 3, I think Shadows is the best. Like, at the end of Revelations, I wouldn't have said it because I was so sick of playing it at the start. But now that I can look back with kind of fresh eyes and a digested palette of Black Ops 3, I think Shadows is the best. It's got an incredible storyline, incredible setting, awesome music. Like, just the theme of it all really comes in nicely. Really, it sets up Black Ops 3. Everything about Shadows of Evil is just, it's awesome. I love that map, and I have such great memories of it. It's number 3. At number 2, we have Mob of the Dead. This was the fight, right? Because they're the same maps, they're the same ideas, same concepts. But Mob of the Dead is going to win this one for me. Why is Mob of the Dead better than Shadows of Evil? At this point in the ranking list, it's not so objective. It can't be objective because these top 5, they're all the greatest map of all time to somebody, right? Oh man, Mob, where do I start? To me, Mob of the Dead has the best story of any map. It almost feels like more of a movie than a map. The characters are so well developed. You've got like your stereotypes, but then Weasel, who's this guy that is way deeper once you hear the quotes and all that stuff. It's so cool, right? Just all of that. And you take that phenomenal storyline and you just throw it in one of the most fun maps to play ever. It really is a work of art. And Mob of the Dead is number 2. But Origins is always going to be my number 1. And not everyone's going to agree with it. Again, I think any of these top 5 maps are easy picks for the number 1 spot, but I gotta give it up to Origins. Best Easter egg. That's it. Best Easter egg. That Easter egg is the most replayable, complex, yet not too complex, okay? Challenging but rewarding. You know, you're rewarded for learning. I've never played anything from a video game that has kept me that engaged, that I feel like every time I go back to it, I learn something, you know? That's why I think Origins is the greatest map. There's no zombies map that has the replayability, okay? I mean, there's a reason that 4 years after the launch of that map, I was getting 10 to 20,000 viewers speedrunning it day after day after day. It's because people love Origins, because it's a phenomenal map, and because it's got that replayability. I could get into the nitty-gritty of it, but I think that is what it is at its core. It's a fucking masterpiece, man. I love Origins. Oh my god. So yeah, that's our list for today. I know I had to break some hearts on this one, but I feel like I'm a little bit detached from zombies as of late, just like through Fortnite and stuff, and I feel like that's made my opinion more objective, and that's how I'm ranking them nowadays. But you know, you can go to a video and like, it's probably the opposite, because there's videos of me saying I hate Buried. So anyways, we're gonna wrap it up there. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, leave a like. I'll talk to you later. Peace out, you frickin' nerds.